Hello everybody and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo, where we're continuing from where we left off. I'm brought out of my rather morbid musing by the appearance of Rin near the entrance to the bleachers. You came. Of course, I said I wouldn't. I said I would, didn't I? That doesn't necessarily imply that you had to follow through. Lots of people say things and don't mean them. Well, I don't. Rin shrugs, seemingly bored with our conversation. She turns on her heel and heads back toward the stands. I owe Amy money and I know. Why's that? I didn't think you'd show up. Amy did. So I owe her 500 yen. You two bet an awful lot, don't you? Amy shrugs from an aimless companion. Wait, what? From my armless companion. I don't think so. We enter the bleachers and Rin nods upwardly. Up there. I came out to see if you'd come. For the bet, I presume. Rin leads the way, and soon we're settled down on an almost empty bleach. There's an older woman sitting next to Rin. Someone's mother, I assume. She's got rather long hair, done up in a braid. On seeing Rin, she gives her an oddly familiar seeming grin. Well, this is surprising. I thought you went to get a snack, not a boy. Huh? A snack? I wonder why I went down there. The woman laughs again in a way that seems familiar. Where have I seen her before? Well, I suppose you've always been one to go out for one thing and bring back another. But I'm being rude. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Miko Emmy's mother. Pleased to meet you. Well, that explains it. She's like a taller, older, and better endowed Emmy. Apart from her braid, or for her being a darker shade than Emmy, she really no mistakenly the resemblance. So I'm Hasao. Oh, sorry, I'm Hasao. Hasao Nakai. And really, you don't have to apologize for not introducing yourself, Miss. That's really Rin's job in this situation, isn't it? Another laugh from Emmy's mother. I take it you're not known. I take it you've not known Rin for long then. It's best not to expect her to remember something like that. She's got other things to think about, I assume. Rin nods, seemingly pleased by this assessment. She's right. I was thinking about sunsets. You see, it's really up to us to make introductions and the like. For lack of any better response, I nod. Mrs. Arabazaki leans back a little on her seat and raises an eyebrow. So how long have you and Rin been dating? My response consists of silence as my brain suddenly launches into gear. But just before I can begin to utter a hastily babbled expression, Emmy's mother bursts into a laughter again. Ha! You're a blusher, aren't you? I don't know if there's any way to keep my dignity in this situation, so I settled for a mumbled response. Maybe. So this must be a new romance then, mustn't it? Wait, that's not the question that... Another laugh. I know, but it's funny to watch you squirm. I'm sorry, forgive an old woman for her amusement. Old woman? She sure doesn't look that old to me. Clearly, Amy gets her youthful features from her mother. I suppose I can't let it go. How kind of you. It's starting. I direct my attention to the track where they're preparing for the first sprint. Looks like the 400-meter dash. My eyes scan the runners before finding Emmy. She's smiling with an almost cocky look on her face. The starter raises his pistol. Emmy explodes off the block, disappearing from the starting line in a blur. It's amazing, even as the other sprinters converge on the lanes closest to the inside line. Emmy surges in front of the pack. Look at this girl's dopey smile. Look at this girl too. That girl's missing a hand. By the end, she rounds the final turn, so some of the other runners have caught up with her. The efforts have come to naught, though, since the final burst of speed from Emmy leaves them at least a half-second behind. Mrs. Arizona whoops and shouts, applauding wildly, and generally looking like any other parent cheering on their children. Emmy bounds off the track, looking pleased with herself. I don't know what happened there, so let's continue. Emmy bounds off the track, looking pleased with herself. I cheer right along with the rest of them. The announcer, sounding suspiciously like Misha, gleefully gives the results. I think she's gotten faster since the last time. That was incredible. Mrs. Arabazabada grins proudly. Emmy's a heck of a runner. We fall silent at the next event is being prepared. I'm surprised to see Emmy striding out onto the track again. Wait, didn't she just run? Emmy's mother nods. Yes, but she runs multiple events for the team, especially the sprints. It's a lot of running, but Emmy can handle it. From the looks of things, she's right. Emmy doesn't appear to be tired, as if she hadn't run the previous event at all. If not for the sweat visibly on her shirt, you'd never know. Which event is this? It's the 200-meter dash. She'll do this one, the 100-meter, and the relay. I see. Once again the pistol sounds, and once again Emmy flies off the block. A thumping sound drives my attention away from the race. It's Rin's foot. She seems completely absorbed in the race. Emmy's mother cheers again, and I assume that the race is over. Sprints don't seem to me like they take very long to complete. Your foot. Your foot was bouncing on the bleachers. Oh. You seem pretty into this stuff. I'm surprised. Rin looks at me quizzically. Why wouldn't I be? No reason, I just thought stuff like sports wouldn't interest you. I suppose you're right. It's not that interesting. But I'm watching Emmy, not the sport. I don't follow. Emmy's the most Emmy when she runs. You don't get to see Emmy at her Emmyest very often. But here, you can see. You can see. She directs my attention towards the track where the 100-meter dash is about to start. I watch Emmy closely. As she gets onto the starting block, her whole body seems to relax. But it's a false relaxation. I can see that she's actually like a coiled spring. As the starter tells everyone to get set, her head snaps up and her eyes narrow slightly. Her mouth curls upward in what could be a grin and could be a growl. When the pistol goes off, it's as if she's unleashed from a cage, like she was always moving at this blinding speed. But we couldn't see it happening until the starting pistol displayed the illusion of motionlessness. It's all over in a few seconds, but it's those few seconds I feel that I just witnessed something very personal for Emmy. As soon as she crossed the finish line, the fierce look was replaced by her normal grin. The conquering general returning to his farm. Amazing. She's really amazing. I've never seen anyone move that fast. Well, don't look at me. I'm far too relaxed to run that fast. No, I think Emmy's prowess all comes from her father's side. At the mention of Emmy's father, Mrs. Arazat looks wistful, almost sad. He got her into running, you know. Yeah, she told me. I'm uncertain as to whether or not I would be rude of me to ask about Emmy's father. But after that look on her face a few days ago, I feel compelled to ask. Where is her father now, if I might ask? Emmy's mother hesitates, clearly not willing to answer the question, but at the same time not wishing to appear rude. He isn't around anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring up bad memories. Emmy just seemed a little sad when she mentioned him earlier. That's not surprising considering... They were very close. I see. A beeping noise suddenly emanates from Mrs. Abara's pocket. Reaching into it, she pulls out a cell phone and looks at it. Honestly, text messages? What is he, 16? Oh, nothing. I've got to go meet up with a friend of mine. Will you tell Emmy I'm proud of her and that I will call her later tonight? Of course. I'll admit that I zone out for a while. I almost don't notice that the relay is about to begin. But when I look, I can't find Emmy. I thought that Emmy was going to be running a relay. She runs anchor. So she won't be running for a while yet. Ah. Did you see it? Huh? Emmy, at her Emmyest. Maybe. Maybe this time. The race begins and I cheer Emmy's teammates along as they pass the baton. Finally, where's the baton? Finally, I see Emmy sprinting onto the track to take the final handoff. Once again, I'm taken aback by how graceful she looks when she runs. It really is beautiful. The look of determination and fearlessness of her face only adds to the picture. Excuse me. Emmy at her Emmyest, I suppose. She still doesn't have a baton. But then, as she crosses the finish line, I see her stumble slightly. It's only barely, but it's definitely a stumble. Rin inhales sharply and actually looks concerned for a second. Ah, Emmy. Did she hurt herself? Do you think? You noticed it too? Must be bad. She frowns as if decided on the next course of action. Eventually, she proves to be too tiresome, and she shrugs again. Well, let's go down. Gotta crown the victor. See if you can find a laurel branch. That's not gonna be easy. Rin shrugs. At least we tried. Well, we didn't really try at all that hard. Or at all. But, hey, whatever. Emmy is surrounded by her teammates, all of them congratulating her on the run. Emmy seems to be waiting for Emmy to notice that she's arrived. Yeah, I guess she can't exactly wave Emmy over. Then again, I'm not sure that Rin would do such a thing even if she had arms. It doesn't seem her style to draw attention to herself, or to emote beyond shrugging. Either way, I'm not willing to wait, so I wave to Emmy, who looks up and grins happily at me, us. Hey, you showed up. Guess Red owes me money, huh? We would have brought you a crown of laurels, but Hassan didn't find one. Hey, neither do you. It wasn't my job to look. When did we assign jobs? When I said see if you could find a laurel branch. Try to keep up. Jeez. I shrug. Guess Rin's rubbing off on me. Seems it's my fault after all, Emmy. Emmy laughs at Rin and me. It's okay, I'm sure you'll make it up to me somehow. Sure. Good. So how'd I look? I stop myself from blurting out beautiful or amazing and settle for the subsequently safer very impressive. Emmy seems pleased with my assessment. I don't mention how much more impressive her performance is, given her lack of legs. I figure she knows that already. Besides, it seems like it would take away from her effort somehow. Great to hear. I was worried that I looked a little slow on the relay, but I guess I did fine, huh? Actually, I noticed. Rin kicks me and keeps me from finishing my sentence. What was that all about? He noticed it at the end. That's no good. Guess the nurse will look after me later. For me later. There's a carelessness in her voice, as if it isn't a big deal, but I suddenly notice a slight twitch on her face. Like she's trying to hide the fact that she's in pain. It's then that I notice her breathing is a little shallow, too. I guess she really is hurt. She must notice my concern because she skips up to give me... She skips up to me and gives me a friendly pat on the shoulder. Hey, you look a little worried. I'm fine, really. Just sore from the running is all. And come on, a little pain isn't going to stop me. Oh no? Emmy grins, and for a moment she looks like she did during her sprint. Fierce and unconquerable. Or to put it together another way, really beautiful. Hasn't yet? Well then, I guess I shouldn't worry, huh? Damn right, I'm Emmy Ebba, fastest thing on no legs. I don't stop for anything. Impressive. Emmy giggles and then seems to remember something. Oh, before I forget, Rin and I are going to do something next Sunday as a post-track meeting celebration. You should come along. Normally we do it the day after, but since the track meet was on Sunday, I've got homework and class and all stuff to take care of. Plus our morning run, of course. Right, of course. Alright, your mom wanted to say she's proud of you. She'll call you later tonight. I thought I saw her in the stands. I'm glad she made it. Excuse me. Used to be my dad that showed up to my meets, but Mom's done a pretty good job of taking over. She shivers slightly. I realize that she's still all sweaty. A breeze has started to blow too. It's not cold at all, but I got my jacket with me, so without a word I throw it around her shoulders. Emmy jumps slightly and then grins at me. Hey, thanks! It's getting a little cold, I guess. Yeah, it looked like it. Just as I begin to wonder whether or not giving Emmy my jacket could be taken the wrong way, a boy in the track team uniform approaches. Hey Emmy, you were in the Mr. Medal ceremony. Oh yeah, thanks. She turns to Rin and myself. You don't have to stick around for this part. It takes forever. Besides, you should get cracking on your homework now. If you don't want to be up late, Hassan. Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Besides, you should... I already said this. Morning run tomorrow. Don't forget. How could I? Good point. I mean, it's spending time with me, after all. With this, she waves quickly and dashes off to receive her medals, or whatever they pass off as medals these days. Rin and I head away from the track, Rin remaining deep in whatever thoughts she has for the most of the walk back to her dorm. As I see her off, she speaks up. You're probably not going to get... Probably not getting that coat back, I think. I'm sure I'll get it back eventually. Interesting. Take it as it comes, huh? Very Emmy-ish. With that odd statement, she turns and heads into the building. Honestly, was it that big a deal? Emmy was cold and, unless I'm mistaken, in pain. Given her situation, to at least one of those problems seems like an obvious reaction. Though I guess there is a chance I could lose my jacket if Emmy remembers to return it. I guess Rin has a point. Still, I can't bring myself to muster much worry about the whole thing. After all, it's getting warmer lately. I don't need a jacket. Odd. I think I used to be a little more responsible with my stuff. Emmy-ish, huh? Maybe that's not really a bad thing. La da da, doo doo doo, la da da. You haven't been forgetting to take your medication, have you? I'm catching a little murmur. You should take it easy for a few days. The nurse's words hurt me far more than the exhaustion of the morning run ever could. Take it easy for a few days. I knew I should have kept quiet. I keep my eyes on the floor feeling like a complete idiot. Of course I hadn't been remembered to take my medications. I've been rushing out of my room to get to the track before Emmy. After the track meet a few days ago, I felt inspired. So I've been running warm-up laps in the morning before Emmy shows up. But then today, while she and I were running, I felt a little pain in my chest. It was only slight, and it was only for a second, so I mentioned it to the nurse. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I kept running and finished just fine, so really it couldn't have been that bad. Why do I feel like I'm making an excuse to the nurse? Moreover, why do I feel it's a need to justify continuing to run despite the pain? Really, it comes down to me being willing to concern Emmy, who seems concerned anyway. I'm not sure how she was able to tell whether there was something wrong, but she claims I stumbled a little. She's the one who insisted I tell the nurse, so now I feel bad for worrying her at all. The nurse is shaking his head ruefully while Emmy passes outside the room. Hisao, I know it's difficult for you to get into a new routine, but if you don't want to find yourself in a lot of trouble, you're going to have to try harder. You can't afford to forget your pills, and you can't push yourself too hard. But if I don't push myself, how will I improve? I don't know where that came from. The nurse seems to have an idea. Now, where have I heard that before? He laughs and pats me on the shoulder. Ha! She's rubbing off on you, I guess. His expression changes again, and he's back into serious mode. Look, I'm not saying you shouldn't push yourself. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be taking your medication, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't stop if your chest starts to bother you. I'd prefer you not to have any fatalities while I'm on staff here. A bit of a lofty goal, to be sure, but I'm always up for a challenge. I hate to admit it, but I think he's right. I've got to remember to take my medication. You're right, I'm sorry to worry you. Who's worried? You're a smart kid, right? I know you can be responsible, Hisao. A situation like yours, you gotta learn to be responsible fast. I know. His expression suddenly becomes devious. I suppose you started to enjoy your runs with Emmy then, eh? Yeah, they've really been helping me out. I mean, until today I was feeling a lot more healthy. Plus, it's really impressive to see Emmy run. Did you see her at the track meet? She was incredible. The nurse nods, grinning all the while. That she was, Hisao. I watched her first couple of races before I had some business to take care of. But she told me all about it. Kind of you to lower her your jacket, by the way. Huh? Oh yeah, it wasn't that big a deal. I had honestly forgotten all about that. I still hadn't gotten it back. The nurse gets a smile that makes me feel like he's just made a joke. But to you, not to you, but Emmy certainly appreciated it. And I know she appreciates you riding with her in the mornings. This one catches me off guard a little. Sure, she mentioned that it's easier to keep to a schedule with an extra person, but I didn't think that I was doing her a favor at all. I thought she was doing me the favor of helping me follow through the doctor's orders. She tries harder than when you're around. If there's someone else running with her, she's going to push herself more. And she tries even harder when you're around because, well, it's you. What the heck does that mean? Oh ho, you'd love to know, wouldn't you? He laughs in the style of evil megalomaniacs. Well, with that, I think this is a good place to stop. Next time we'll continue with our doctor visit, so see you guys later.